would have been totally disregarded if they had come by word of mouth, were taken as the gospel truth because they were written. One of the great breakthroughs in Western writing came when the ancient Greeks developed the alphabet. The alphabet made it much easier for people to learn to read and write. And as those skills became more widespread, it changed everything in Western society. Another advance, not on the scale of inventing the alphabet, but nevertheless an important step, took place when the no-leak fountain pen was invented by the Montblanc company. Wolf Heinrichsdorf is the managing director of Montblanc International.
1906, three gentlemen came together, and one had the idea. He traveled America, and he saw in America a fountain pen, which was an innovation. It had ink in a tank in the pen, rather than always dipping the nib into the ink. So it was a great idea, but the quality was still lousy. You had ink spots on your shirts when you were wearing that around. So they said, the idea is good, the execution is not good enough. Let's go after top quality and start that kind of a business in Europe. And they wanted to be a little bit sophisticated, a little bit French. So they related the name of the pen to a famous book at that time, Rouge et Noir of Stendhal, which means red and black. But the Germans at that time never spoke French. So they looked at the pen and said, it looks like Little Red Riding Hood. So their innovation was then to make the same pen with a white cap, staying a French name. They chose Mont Blanc, the highest mountain of Europe, 4,810 meters high. The pen name became so well known that they decided to change the name of the company into Montblanc Filler Pen Company. And that is, I think, a very rare moment in the history of a company, that a success of a product is giving the company's name rather than vice versa. So we call the balance to high tech, high touch. Things which are staying with you, which have continuity, which become a friend of yours through many, many years. So this pen, for example, will be one day a pen I proudly will pass down to my kids. And this pen is made forever in a top quality, and you see in the cap a diamond cut in the shape of Mont Blanc symbol, the star. The founders never would have thought this business would become a diamond business, but this year we bought around about 3,500 carat in brilliance, in diamonds, and put them into the heads of our writing instruments, cut like the star, the symbol of Mont Blanc.
In 1992, they began producing an annual limited edition pen that honors a famous patron of the arts or an author. The pens are on display in the Mont Blanc Museum.
We want to celebrate the unsung heroes, which are the patrons of the art. They are the ones who make culture strong, they finance culture, and they know that culture is the backbone of civilization. And we believe in that as well. This is financing our activities. We do year by year, and we sell these limited editions, and at the end of the day, it allows us to do something for culture. So I would like to show you as well, in the same year, like 1992, introduced to the market a author's editions, because authors have something to do with writing, at least most of them. And Ernest Hemingway was writing a lot as well by hand. And this is, by the way, one of his letters he was writing from the Finca Vigia San Francisco de Paulo, Cuba, one of his major places where he was writing a lot. This writing instrument was the first and is very, very famous. It's a collector's item, hard to get. Even our friend Johnny Depp was not able to get it. Rather, he received it as a present when he came to us, to Geneva, to our 100
From your collection.
Years. Unfortunately, now I'm missing the number 5 out of my own collection, but I know it's in good hands with him.
The heart and soul of the Mont Blanc pen is the nib, which is the point. Producing just one nib requires 50 processes. And many carefully trained craftsmen and women. Karsten Hens is production manager.
This room is closed. Why? Because we must ensure that no sound from outside will come in, because the sound should only become from the nib. They are writing with transparent ink and only aids and lines so that they can hear if there's any scratches on the paper. So for that we have to rework the nib.
The history of Montblanc is, to a great extent, the history of the luxury brand business in the 20th century. In 1919, it established its own advertising department, which was headed by Greta Gross. She was a master at promoting the name and made Montblanc an internationally recognized and widely respected brand. She took a group of automobiles, mounted giant fountain pens on their roof, formed them into a cavalcade, and sent them off on the roads of Europe. She also put the logo on early biplanes and flew them from country to country. Recently, they decided to extend their brand to other things, and it's about time. In 1997, Montblanc purchased a beautiful old villa in the Jura Mountains of Switzerland and restored it to its original condition. At the same time, on the sloping hill behind it, they built a small, almost hidden facility for making watches. The Jura has been home to the world's great watchmakers for hundreds of years, a craft that is passed on from generation to generation. The new generation, however, is not only skilled in the traditional techniques, but highly trained in the use of computers and advanced technology. Computer programs are used to help design the watches and set the precise criteria for production. The actual assembly has a number of elements that are so exact that robotic machines were invented to help the watchmakers. In business schools, it's called horizontal integration. You can use their pen to write down your appointment and their watch to see how late you are. Today, the company still has a program for displaying its logo in unusual places. Ingrid Rosen-Trinks is the director of Montblanc's Cultural Foundation.
Since the very beginning, we had a close connection to literature, to writers and authors. And from this, we explored our relationship with artists. We have now almost 90 art pieces of international artists who did their work of art on the White Star of Mont Blanc. That makes it so exciting to see the variety and the imagination regarding a logo of a brand. I like very much the hanging art piece called Big Lunar Module from one of my dearest friends from the United States, Tom Sachs. And it's hanging right in front of the entrance of Mont Blanc. And this is not a piece of the art, it is a toy of a Mont Blanc employee. You know, they are not shy to approach the artwork of Mont Blanc.
They just put it there.
They just put it there. Whenever they go to the canteen or come back, they push the button. So they play with the artwork, which I like. Art bags, which are sculptures made out of aluminum, which are 3 meters high and 2.20 meters wide, which you see outside on the lawn outside of our headquarters building. They had been traveling all over the world. They had been at the Rockefeller Center in New York for a couple of weeks. They had been on Champs-Élysées in Paris, on the waterfront in Cape Town in South Africa. They had been to Bilbao, to Barcelona. They are on tour.
Why, this is just the size shopping bag my wife always uses.